The issue of multiple membership is a challenge. You find members of the East African community. There are also members of other regional integration blocks. Some are members of COMESA, Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa. Others are members of SADC, of which Stuart is also a member there. I mean South Africa, not Stuart. And so you find all these other legs also have trade regimes, and you find members try to implement different trade regimes. You know the problem of that. For those who are business people, you have to learn about different rules of origin, and this is very challenging, particularly in the implementation of the customs union. It has given us quite a big challenge because of trying to preserve obligations under these other regional integration blocks within the EAC, especially when you have a common external tariff. You're expected to trade any goods originating from outside the region. They have to attract the common external tariff. But because of these other obligations, under these other memberships, you find that dilutes the impact of the common external tariff. How are we dealing with the challenges? Of course, sensitization. We have been trying to undertake sensitization, but it's very expensive. You know, buying space in the media is quite expensive. But in terms of non-tariff barriers, our regional parliament has enacted the East African Community Standards Quality Assurance Metrology and Testing Act, which is mainly addressing the issue of technical barriers to trade within the region. Under this, we have harmonized over 1,000 standards, industrial standards, and it's still going. But this is just one way of dealing with the non-tariff barriers. We have also an East African Competition Act, which is trying to level the playing ground for the economic operators in the region. And these, we have not been fully operationalized. We are supposed to have a regional competition authority, which we hope will be coming into being, most likely next year. Of course, I mentioned about negotiating as a bloc. This is trying to change the mindset of partner states from thinking, from a national orientation to doing that. Under the regional integration, partner states have to know that, to be impressed that they have to behave as a bloc instead of thinking nationally. Of course, we have initiated various export promotion programs under the East African community. We have come up with a program whereby partner states, a work plan whereby partner states are trying to, in terms of exporting to AGOA, to the US under the AGOA, we have worked up a joint program which we hope will try to bring together partner states to work together. And of course, we have come up with a regional short SMB program, whereby initially now what we do is hold exhibitions, trade fairs in the region, which alternate across the partner states. The purpose of this was, first of all, to, thank you, I'm just waiting, was to impress the governments to come up with the policies in the that could promote the small and medium enterprises sectors. And these exhibitions are normally official opening is presided by the presidents, so that they have come up with a lot of, not to have impact on impressing governments to embrace the SME sector. I will stop there. Maybe I will respond to your question. Thank you all.
Thanks, Mr. Kiguta. Okay, next up is Mr. Soy Pardede, although we decided we'll speak from the chairs rather. Mr. Pardede has more than 35 years of experience in international trade. I'm not going to read his curriculum vitae. All I'm going to tell you is that he's apparently known as Mr. Competition Law of the ASEAN region. When I heard that, I got very nervous because I was in America in December, this last December, and I was in my hotel on the last night of 8 days stay there, standing outside the lift, ready to go up to my hotel room, And this little face from around the corner popped out and said, "Hi, are you Stuart Symington?" So I said, "Yes." So just like you see it in the movies, she jumped out, she dropped her badge and said, "FBI, can I have a few words with you, please?" So she frog marched me off to the restaurant and in the hotel, and there I was met by the Department of Justice, and they proceeded to interrogate me for 2 hours on what we had been doing in the South African fruit industry, which was supposedly anti-competitive, and this was 7 years ago, in terms of supplying the USA market. Well, that was an interesting experience. I now have the utmost respect for Mr. Pardede. So without further ado, Mr. Pardede, over to you.
Allow me to speak from my chairs. First of all, let me clear first. Competition policy and law is not against business acceleration. And this is something that I have to make clear because my background is from business. I was vice president of the Chamber of Commerce looking after trade. And I'm instrumental in so many negotiations under WTO. Okay, so the intention of producing or promoting competition policy and law is not to either stop or reduce the business activities, but rather to see to it the business is performed in a sound way that the growth will sustain. Now, let me see how the integration of economies, particularly in regional integration, has performed very well. Started from European Union, and then followed by NAFTA, and later by ASEAN and others in Latin America and Africa. And that is well noted. But yet, where is the problem that cause amidst that growth? Let me tell you what is the reasons why. Because amidst that growth, we witness some disparities occurred, or the gaps between the less developed and more advanced, between the rich and the poor, between the exporting raw material and resource base and exporting manufactured and high technology products. And why the gap occurs more and more? I tell you two things. Number one is anti-competitive business practices, and the second is the non-conducive condition for fair competition. Okay, on the anti-competitive business practices, where is the root? The root is more caused by the ambitious export target made by each country in the regional cooperation or in the integration, so-called, where the government gives favors in the form of concessions for export. Exporting resources based, in the example of Indonesia, for instance, oil and gas, and also raw materials in the form of CPO, cocoa, coffee, and etc. And it is one side. And on the other side, from the importing sides, which mostly are more advanced countries, a lot of favors are given by the government in the form of financing and up to the supporting in the negotiation. This situation does not promote competitiveness, but rather exploitation of less developing countries in one hand, and strengthening the dominant positions